Birthday? Most people take the day off. Maybe they sleep in, grab brunch, celebrate with friends. Not Caitlin Clark. While the rest of the world was wishing her happy birthday on social media, she was in the gym, not just any gym. The Indiana Pacers training facility, and not with just anyone, with Rob Dozier, an actual NBA trainer who understands how elite pros develop. But here's what nobody's talking about. This isn't just about work ethic. This is about survival. Because what Caitlin Clark is doing right now, the way she's training, who she's training with, it exposes something the WNBA doesn't want you to see. The league's development infrastructure isn't built for players at her level, and she knows it. Let me break down what's really happening here. Because when you connect the dots, this isn't just a birthday workout, it's a statement. It's Caitlin Clark saying, if the WNBA can't prepare me for what I'm facing, I'll go around them. And the fact that she has to do that should tell you everything you need to know about where this league actually is. If you believe the story behind the story matters, smash that like button. It tells us we're on the right track. Because what we're about to unpack isn't just about one player working hard, it's about a generational talent having to build her own infrastructure because the system wasn't ready for her. So here's the setup. Caitlin Clark just hired Rob Dozier. And before you say, okay, she got a new trainer, big deal, understand who Rob Dozier is. This isn't some WNBA skills coach. This is a guy who's worked with NBA players, with G League organizations, with athletes who play against the best competition on the planet every single night. He understands spacing at NBA speed. He understands how to create advantages against defenders who've studied your film. He understands what real pro development looks like. And here's the key part. Keith Porter is gone. The trainer she worked with last year, the guy who was with her through that entire offseason, through the bulk-up phase, through the Iowa to WNBA transition. He's out. And that's not a coincidence, because last year's training approach, while well-intentioned, didn't prepare Caitlin for what she actually faced. Let's talk about what happened last summer. Caitlin bulked up, significantly. And look, I get it. Everyone told her she needed to get stronger. The narrative was, you're too small, you're going to get bullied. You need to add muscle to survive the physicality. So she did. She put on size, she added legitimate arm mass, and when that photo from her birthday celebration went around, people were shocked. She looked like she'd been in the weight room every day because she had. But here's what nobody wants to admit. That bulk-up strategy backfired. Not completely, but enough to matter. She lost mobility. Her shot rhythm changed. She wasn't as fluid off the dribble, and then she got injured. Plantar fasciitis, the kind of injury that happens when your body is carrying more weight than it's used to, when you're moving differently than your mechanics are built for. And I'm not saying the injury was directly caused by the bulk up, but I am saying the timing is suspicious. Because when you add muscle mass quickly, when you change how your body moves, when you alter your center of gravity, things break down, especially for someone whose game is built on quickness, change of direction, and explosive first steps. Now look at this year. Caitlin slimmed back down. You can see it clearly. She looks lighter, more mobile, more like the version of herself that dominated college basketball. Not the same physically, but similar in movement quality. And that tells you something. It tells you she learned from last year. It tells you she realized that trying to out-physical the WNBA wasn't the answer. The answer is to outthink them. And that's where Rob Dozier comes in. Because here's the thing about elite trainers that most people don't understand. It's not about the drills. Every trainer runs the same drills: catch and shoot, pull-ups, transition finishes, pick and roll reads. The drill itself doesn't matter. What matters is the environment you create around those drills. On the men's side, I've seen this firsthand. Top trainers don't just work with one player in an empty gym. They bring in other high-level players. They create competition. They put defenders on you, real defenders, not guys holding pads, not coaches standing still. Actual players who can guard, who can pressure you, who can force you to solve problems in real time. And that's exactly what we're seeing now with Caitlin. She's not working out alone. She's working out with a group, 5 other people. That means someone's rebounding, someone's passing, and someone's defending. You can run 2-on-2. You can simulate game actions. You can make it competitive. And most importantly, you can make it uncomfortable. Because that's what Caitlin needs right now. Not more reps, more problem-solving reps. She needs to work on going right and finishing with her left hand. She needs to practice creating under contact when the first move doesn't work. She needs to develop counters for defenders who already know her tendencies. And here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wanted to say last year. If you watched her workout footage from last summer, she barely finished with her left hand. Barely. I said it on video at the time and people got mad. They said I was hating, but it was just observation. In her public workout clips, she attempted maybe 3 off-the-dribble shots going right, and that's exactly what showed up in games. Defenders forced her right. They sat on her left hand. They made her uncomfortable. And when you're working out alone, when you're just drilling without resistance, you can't simulate that. You don't develop the muscle memory to counter it. You don't build the comfort level you need. But now, working with Rob Dozier, working in the Pacers facility, working with multiple people, she can simulate those scenarios. She can have someone actually body her. She can practice finishing with contact. She can develop the counters she needs. And here's why this matters so much. Caitlin Clark is so talented that she can get away with certain things until she can't. In college, she could dominate off her left hand and still score 40 points. But in the WNBA, when you're playing against the best defenders in the world, when they've studied your film, when they know your spots, you can't rely on one move. The league figured her out, not completely, but enough. They knew if they forced her right, if they made her finish with her left, if they bumped her off her rhythm, she became less efficient. Not bad, still elite, but less unstoppable than she was at Iowa. And Caitlin knows that, which is why she's doing this, which is why she hired an NBA trainer, which is why she's training in an NBA environment, because the WNBA's development infrastructure wasn't designed for someone like her. Think about what development looks like in most professional leagues. You have player development coaches. You have assistant coaches dedicated to skill work. You have analytics teams breaking down your film. You have sports science departments monitoring your load. You have nutritionists, strength coaches, mental performance experts. It's a system. But in the WNBA, most teams don't have that infrastructure, not at the level that star players need. And Caitlin Clark realized that the hard way, so instead of waiting for the league to catch up, Jimmy, she went around them. She hired her own NBA-level trainer. She's using the Pacers facility. She's creating her own development environment. And honestly, I think the league learned something from last season, too. Let's be real. The WNBA lost the face of its product for a stretch when Caitlin got injured. Viewership dipped. Momentum slowed. And a big part of that was the physicality she faced, the bad officiating, and the fact that she felt like she had to bulk up just to survive it. There had to be conversations behind the scenes. There had to be calls between league officials, team executives, maybe even broadcast partners saying, we cannot let our stars get beaten up like this. Not just Caitlin, everybody. Because when your stars are injured, your product suffers, your ratings drop, your relevance fades. And I genuinely believe that's part of what we're seeing now. The league is protecting its stars better this year. The officiating is more consistent. The physical play that was allowed last season, the cheap shots, the flagrant fouls that went uncalled, that's being cracked down on. Because the WNBA finally realized that building the league around star power means actually protecting those stars. But here's the thing. Caitlin isn't waiting for the league to figure it out. She's already moved on. She's training like someone who knows the system can't fully support her. And that's what makes this so fascinating. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just trying to be the best player in the WNBA. She's trying to develop at a level that transcends the league itself. If you're seeing what we're seeing, drop a comment. Tell us what you think Caitlyn's next move should be. Because the way she's approaching this offseason, it's clear she's not satisfied with where she is. She wants more. And honestly, that should terrify the rest of the league. Now let's talk about what this means for next season. Because if Caitlyn comes back lighter, more mobile, with better counters going right, with improved left-hand finishing, with NBA-level problem-solving skills, the league is in trouble. Real trouble. Last year, even with all the physicality, even with the injuries, even with defenders sitting on her left hand, she still put up elite numbers. She still changed games. She still elevated the Fever from a lottery team to a playoff contender. Imagine what happens when she's actually operating at full capacity. And here's what people don't fully appreciate yet. Caitlyn's game isn't built on athleticism. It's built on skill and IQ, which means she can keep improving for years. She doesn't need to get faster or jump higher. She just needs to get smarter, more efficient, more diverse in her attack. And that's exactly what this training setup is designed for. Working with Rob Dozier isn't about doing more reps. It's about doing smarter reps. It's about simulating game situations with real resistance. It's about building counters before you need them. It's about being so prepared that when you see something in a game, your body already knows how to respond. That's how NBA players develop. That's how elite pros stay elite. They don't just drill, they problem solve. They create uncomfortable situations in practice so the games feel easy, and that's what Caitlyn is doing right now. But let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about Caitlyn Clark. This is about what happens when a generational talent enters a league that isn't ready for them. The WNBA has never had someone like Caitlyn before, not someone who came in with this much hype, this much pressure, this much visibility, and the league struggled to handle it. The officiating wasn't prepared for how teams would defend her. The scheduling wasn't prepared for how much interest she would generate. The development infrastructure wasn't prepared to support someone operating at her level. So Caitlyn had to adapt. She had to build her own system. She had to hire her own people. She had to create her own environment. And the fact that she's doing that, the fact that she's taking control of her own development instead of relying on the league, that's a massive statement. It's saying, I'm not waiting for you to catch up. I'm moving forward with or without you. And honestly, every star player in the WNBA should be watching this closely. Because what Caitlyn is doing right now, the blueprint she's creating, that's the future of player development in this league. You can't rely on teams to provide everything you need. You have to take ownership. You have to invest in yourself. You have to build your own infrastructure. And if you do that, if you approach your development the way Caitlyn is approaching hers, you can transcend what the league currently offers. Now here's the scary part. Caitlyn Clark, with space, rhythm, and real problem-solving skills, is already one of the most dangerous offensive players in the world. But Caitlyn Clark, who's also developed counters, who's comfortable going both directions, who's training in NBA-level environments, who's lighter and more mobile than last year, that's a different level entirely. That's not just all-star. That's not just MVP candidate. That's generational. That's someone who changes the trajectory of an entire league. And the WNBA better be ready for it. Because based on what we're seeing right now, Caitlyn isn't just coming back next season. She's coming back upgraded. And here's the ultimate irony. The league that wasn't ready for her last year, the league that let her get beaten up, the league that didn't have the infrastructure to support her development, they're about to benefit massively from the work she's doing right now. Because when Caitlyn Clark is at her best, the entire WNBA rises with her. Viewership goes up, interest increases, sponsorships grow, the whole ecosystem benefits. But she's not doing this for the league. She's doing this for herself. And honestly, that's how it should be. Because at the end of the day, you can't control what the league does. You can only control what you do. So if you want to see where this goes, if you want to stay updated on Caitlyn's journey, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Because we're going to be tracking this all off-season, every workout, every update, every move. And next video, we're breaking down exactly what the Fever need to do to build around her. Because having a generational talent is one thing, maximizing that talent is another. And right now, Indiana has some serious decisions to make. That's the video. That's the story. Caitlin Clark is rewriting the development playbook in real time, and the rest of the league is scrambling to keep up. We'll see you in the next one.